Hey, y'all, welcome back to the channel. Today is all about the flail mower. Flail mowers or rotary cutters or bush hogs or slashers or whatever you want to call them. I have this flail mower that Baumalight sent me last year. It was the prototype, first run of this thing. I took it through some material in late winter. It was really late fall, early winter, but that's not really the test. What we want to see is how good is this thing in really thick material. So a lot of folks have actually said these things are like very, very light duty brush mulchers, which if you watch our videos on the brush mulchers, it's kind of a tall thing to say because that skid steer brush mulcher and even the tractor one, the MP780, are monsters. Now, what I'd really like this to do is I'd like this to be my trail making machine. So we're a hay farm, our hay's growing up. You know, we are now just in the early parts of summer to where everything's popping out of the ground. We have foliage everywhere. We have lots of grasses and weeds and briars and flowers and all kinds of stuff that makes it hard to get around the property without mowing. If you're driving through these things with side-by-sides, which we do all the time, you're eating this stuff. So we have to, make some trails through the property. I think the flail mower is a perfect trail making machine. There's one thing I don't think it could do that the rotary cutter can do. We're actually gonna show that. Now, I did have some comments, and listen, you guys are smart. I love this community. Some folks said you can't really back into stuff with a flail mower. 100% correct. So a flail mower is gonna be easier on a trailer because it's shorter, but that rotary cutter can get under trees and around certain areas. So maybe the rotary cutter is best for you, but there's one thing that I think most people may not think about that you can do with a rotary cutter that you can't do with a flail mower. So we're gonna see if this thing can do it. We're gonna go through some thick stuff today, and we're just gonna have some fun. It is a beautiful day on the farm. God has given us a good one today. We're gonna get some rain later on today, but the barn is being worked on. Can't wait to update you guys on the barn project because that is just epic. Like, it is such a blessing. Can't wait to show you what the layout's gonna be and really some of the materials, which I may have some videos out on that now. I filmed so much stuff, it's just putting all the stuff together. That's the challenge. But today, we're taking our FMP780 tractor. We are paired up with the Baumalight FMP780. This is the big flail mower. They have a smaller one for smaller tractors. This is one for really, like, I guess 50 horsepower and up. I think it goes up to 110 horsepower tractor. So I don't have anything like that to test it with, but let's show you the setup and let's go have some fun. From nose to tail, we've got the Titan implement, which is now Ironcraft grapple, and this is a light duty grapple. It's great for picking up big things of brush. I wish it opened more. I'd really like to have a root grapple, but we'll see what happens over time. I'm building a barn. I can't afford to do everything. This is our FMP780. A lot of you guys know that I'm going to be swapping this tractor out for the new 4058P with a cab. There is not one thing that I would say bad about this tractor that I didn't put in the review video I did. The only gripes I have about it really are that there's no handle on the back for the 3-point and that the cab is tight. I'm a big human, guys, and if you're going to be looking at this and you're a big dude, you may want to look at one that has a bigger cab because the cab is really tight on this, mainly right here where you're stepping in. Now, the 5520 is a hydrostat and the 4058 is a power shuttle. The 4058 kind of sets up like most tractors that I'm used to with power shuttle. I'm used to bigger machines, and it's just more comfortable for me. Like, it's a preference thing. There's not one thing wrong with the hydrostat on here. The cruise control works really well, but I have every intention at some point to have some kind of no-till drill here on the farm that will be very precise to put more food plots in, more planting, more wildlife management, more of the things that I really love to do and enjoy doing. And that 4058 is built for it. I cannot wait to share that with you. But let's talk about this setup. I get distracted. You guys know that. So 4058, R4 tires, all the stuff in the cab that we need. And this tractor is actually going to somebody very special. Y'all put a comment down there. Take a guess who you think this tractor is going to. And here is the Baumalight FMP780. So again, this was in videos on YouTube before on a big, huge 100+ horsepower tractor. So this thing's built to be ridiculously tough. I mean, look at the gearbox on it. Everything that Baumalight makes is made in North America. This is not a Baumalight commercial. I'm just catching you guys up to speed because these are questions I get. They don't buy stuff, rebrand it, and then put it back out. It's all made in North America, Canada, they're our friends to the north, and it is built to last. If you, again, look at the welds on it, you can get some of these flail mowers, and you can get some really good deals on some cheaper import flail mowers, but this one, this is a lifetime kind of purchase if you get something like this. I don't know, it's hard to explain like how heavy duty this thing is. So I have zero expectation that this thing is going to conk out on us anytime soon. I mean, look at that gearbox. It's just massive. I don't remember what teeth these are, or what blades or spoons or whatever people want to call them. I will put that down here in the description, but they are pretty tough, pretty durable. I've gone through some pretty thick stuff with it, and again, this machine came to me where it was tested. So Baumalight doesn't put these things through light work. By the time you own the machine and by the time you buy it, typically what they'll do is they'll send it to guys like me or some of the other ambassadors they have for the brand, and they tell us like, hey, listen, this is a prototype we're working on, beat it up. Sometimes we're allowed to show them, like this one, they said, you know, feel free to show. It's very similar to the smaller one. It's just beefier, but they wanted to make sure the gearboxes were right. They wanted to make sure that this thing would last and be tough. So they tell us, you know, beat the heck out of it. And if we beat it up bad enough to where something does break, which I've never done, I think like I've heard twice where something's happened on some of the really, really compact stuff. We send it back to them. They go through it, they re-engineer it, and by the time you get it, it's great. So it's a really smart program, great people. And again, I just want to re-emphasize the fact that this is not rebranded. All the parts, all the things like any kind of hydraulic motors or fittings or anything that you need to service it or replace stuff with, you can get here locally. You know, there's nothing like proprietary about it, but everything is welded and built there. So let's get to mowing. So if you guys remember, we've been through a bunch of this stuff before, and this is where I did the test where it was like rotary cutter versus flail mower, and I thought that was a great test. One thing I've realized is that where the rotary cutter cuts, more weeds seem to come up. Where the flail mower cuts, less weeds seem to come up. Now, is that a coincidence? I don't know. You guys tell me what your experience is, but all this thick stuff, I'm not mowing all this today, guys, but what we will do, we'll go ahead and go through this patch of briars right here and some of those weeds just to see what we can do here, because I think we can do some damage on that stuff. Speaking of doing damage, we're gonna get rained on. All right, so we're really here today to build trails, not necessarily mow down weeds, but I thought we have it here. Why not? We had a great example of things that we want to mow down. Check this out. I mean, there's the standing thorns right there, and that's what the Baumalight's done to it. Basically turned it into nothing. So, yeah, flail mowers could do very light brush work, but you guys tell me, is this light brush work? Or is that the real deal? Okay, so I wasn't giving you guys clickbait when I said that there's one thing that I don't think that a flail mower can do that a rotary cutter can. And flail mowers are more expensive. I think they give a better cut, but they're a lot more expensive. This is the thing I was talking about. So if you have any kind of wildlife plots or places where you just want to kind of skim the top off of something like clover, right here I have this beautiful field of clover. It's red crimson clover, and you can see that the tops are starting to spread out pretty nice. What you usually want to do is knock these tops off. There's not enough wildlife out here to eat all these things, and a rotary cutter can come really high because you see these are pretty tall plants. You know, you're talking about probably about a foot. Some are even taller than that. And what you want to do is just knock the top off because that will stimulate the plant for new growth. And a rotary cutter does a very good job of that because you have a guide wheel on the back, and that guide wheel can really help you set depth or those decks are pretty accustomed to floating. So as long as you're not really on that much of a lumpy ground or like lots of ditches or anything like that, you should get a pretty level cut. Flail mower, there's a roller in the back. That roller can crush this clover, and clover is pretty hardy, but if you have any other kind of plant, like a wheat or a winter wheat or something like that, it's gonna kill it. It's gonna basically, lightly crimp it to the point where you're gonna kill that plant. You all can argue with me if you want to. I've done it. It doesn't take much. Now clover will bounce back, from tires and stuff, but I don't know that we can just knock the tops off. Long story short, that's what we're gonna do. Do a strip through here, knock the tops off, see if we could just get the very tips of it off, and then if we could do that, then maybe it can really replace the rotary cutter. But if not, if you're a wildlife manager, you really need something with a blade that's gonna shear that. So let's see what we could do. And boy, it's heating up out here. Yeah, man, summer's coming. I said it a million times, that cab is nice. If you guys have a cab, tell me if you're in that cab life, because the AC feels good right about now. All right, let's knock the tops off this clover and see if this flail mower can do that job. Okay, it did an okay job. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I have a couple different depths. What I did was I raised and lowered the flail mower, and here, this was the lowest. So you can see it basically just mowed. You do have some clover down here, which is still doing okay. But some of those big stalky things are all, they're so damaged at this point. I don't know if they're gonna survive. Now, I did come here, this is a little bit taller, and you can see it did knock some of the tops off. I don't know if I pulled that one off just now. Here's one. So it did chop the top off like we wanted it to do. And this is actually a pretty decent job. Some of these things are lopped off and they'll grow back and it'll grow back hardier. I was messing with the height a little bit because I don't want to go too short. And if you go too short, you're gonna kill everything. You go too high, you're not really doing the job. But you can see the difference. Like here's where it wasn't mowed and here's where it was mowed. A lot of this was kind of just pushed over with the tires from the tractor. It's just not really, I wouldn't say that's a great mow job, but I can't say that it won't do it. I'll be honest, I'm not super happy with the result. So it will do it if you're somebody like me who you want things done right, you want the right tool for the job. I think a rotary cutter does a better job of mowing clover. So if you're really just doing food plots, you're really just doing wildlife management stuff, maybe a rotary cutter is for you. If you have a homestead and you're trying to make everything real pretty and nice and orderly and the best possible cut, like almost a finish mower quality cut, I think that the flail mower is the right gig. This gives you an example of why I'm not super happy with it. There's so much pushed down, and again, that's the tractor, but it's also because we can't get that flail mower high enough and comfortable enough to do a good cut, because there's only a certain level of which those blades work. So you can see where the tractor tires kind of pushed everything over, which is going to happen with a rotary cutter too. But there's just way too much of the tops left over, which tells me it's not being efficient. With a rotary cutter, you're not going to see any of this red. All this red would be gone, like every bit of it would be gone. And I think the rotary cutter just does a better job at mowing food plots. One other thing, and this is a major consideration, you do not want a flail mower riding high, spinning all those blades, and then hit something and not have that steel enclosure to let it kind of ride around it. You don't want that flying towards you. So I'll be honest, it feels kind of dangerous having the flail mower that high, whereas the rotary cutter, I don't know why, it just doesn't feel as dangerous. So anyway, it may sound like I'm ragging on the flail mower, but look at this result. That's really hard to argue with. It's just a beautiful cut. So from this to that, really hard to argue with. Well, friends, flail versus rotary, obviously the answer is go ahead and get both. Man, everyone has limitations. We all have budgets. We all have things that we're going to need to the tool to do the job for. And this tractor paired up with a rotary cutter or a flail mower just seems to be a great setup. So I'm a flail mower convert, I think. I think that the flail mower does a much better job when it comes to trails. I mean, the proof right there in that path is just beautiful. It looks so neat, so clean. There's not any debris left over. It's just a much better cut. However, I'm not selling my rotary cutter because I need it for food plots. Like you guys saw today, if you have a clover food plot, I have acres of them out here. You know, clover is such a great wildlife thing. Whether you hunt or you don't hunt, it's really nice to give back, especially in slopey, kind of hilly areas where we're not really cutting hay or some ground that's not really great for any kind of crop. Clover is a great alternative, and mowing it is important. It's an important part of making that clover continue to jump out of the ground and thrive. So tell me what you guys think in the comments. I would love to have you guys back here. This has been a lot of fun. I love tractors. I really enjoy doing these kinds of videos where we just test different kinds of equipment, and I really enjoy spending time with you guys. So thank you so much for the support you've given our channel. We feel very, very blessed. We feel honored that you spent your time with us. And if you would like to subscribe, you know how to do that. Hit that subscribe button. It's free. Just hit that little button. It's very simple to do. Hit the notification bell, come back and see us, and give us a like. We would appreciate that. So that tells us what kind of content you guys enjoy watching, what kind of content you don't enjoy watching. So I hope to catch you in the next one. I'm Joe the Farmer. We out.